Hello and welcome to the monthly Q&A for January. If you'd like to get your question answered in a Q&A like this one, then head on over to ask.fm/Sharmalade and I will do my best to answer your question as long as it's not too rude. Question number 1, and this is from Sky Low, I'm assuming. Could you recommend some of the paranormal romance novel series you've read? I remember you mentioning you loved them, same here, and I'd really like to read something you enjoyed. Cresley Cole and Gina Showalter, her name's spelled G-E-N-A, are two of my favourite authors, and I love all of their books. They are a bit naughty, they are a bit steamy, so you have to be 18 plus if you're going to think about reading these books. But I love them because of the paranormal nature, the paranormal romance, love triangle thing, I love all of that. So they're my two favourite authors. There was also another author, I can't remember her name, and she did the Dulcie O'Neill series, which was like one of my favourite series. One of my favourite series. So check that out as well if you're into paranormal romance, but as I said, 18 plus all the way. Have you ever played Witcher 3 with or without DLCs? The game's amazing, got great music, marvellous plateau line and unforgettable characters, and the same goes for DLCs, but not everyone enjoys the mechanics. I wonder what's your opinion about the game, and that's also from Sky. I've never played The Witcher 3. I just really enjoy the music from it. And this is a sensitive topic, I suppose you could say, because a lot of people assume that because I've covered a particular song it means that I've played the game. And you may have heard my Priscilla song cover, and I've played a bit of The Witcher 1 and I loved it so much, but for just whatever reason I kind of burnt out and stopped playing it, which I tend to do with a lot of games. But when it comes to game music, it's my favourite type of music. Like, it just seems to like hit home with me, and I just love singing it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I've played the game. So I've never actually played The Witcher 3. It is something, I have it on the Xbox and I have it on PC. I've just never played it, so it is something that I will get round to playing. But if you know me, then you know that I get lots of games, and I just, like a lot of you get lots of games, you get excited about playing them, you play them for like a week, you burn out and you start playing something else. Well, that's what happened to me with The Witcher, and I didn't want to start at Witcher 3, I wanted to start at the very beginning. So I will need to finish Witcher 1 and Witcher 2 before I even think about playing Witcher 3. Although, telling a little Porky, I did play a bit of Witcher 3 and it was so good, so damn good, but my PC couldn't handle it, so oh, there's a parcel, yay! It's like Christmas. It wasn't for me, so that was a bit of a bust. Another question from Sky. This is the Sky Tribute Q&A. How long does it take to create a whale parody with singing, editing and making a video and all? Okay, that's a really good question. Usually, to find the inspiration for a whale parody can take the longest, because it's been a long time since I released my last one, Taurus, and I've not had anything kind of strike me since to write about. And I do like to make it so that the genre of the song like kind of, you know, ties in with what I'm singing about. And writing the lyrics can take like up to a week usually, because I tend to research like crazy when I'm doing the lyrics, and especially if it's about a raid, then I like to put in each boss, read the lore about each boss. I like to read what the boss says during a fight. I like to read what the NPCs say during a fight, because I like to include that sometimes as like a punchline in a verse for a boss. So that all takes a lot of time trying to get that all to fit, and when I'm creating a WoW parody specifically about a raid boss, or a raid which has got numerous raid bosses in it, I like to figure out how many raid bosses there are and then assign them via number to each section, so that I don't sort of write a whole 2 verses about Garothi and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh well, I've not got space for the other bosses because I've already written just a whole song about him. So I like to figure out and plan my structure of my lyrics in advance, so that all takes time. And The video making is, then there's the recording side of it. Usually I will record the main vocals in one day and then the backing vocals on the second day, and I like to try and record all my vocals in one sitting so they sound the same, so that I don't, you know, have maybe a slightly higher voice the next day for whatever reason, or a more tired voice for whatever reason. I like to try and get it all done in one sitting. So then that's 2 days for the parody, and then the video making is like, I wish I had someone to just do the videos for me, because I'm not a video maker, that's not what I'm about. I like to do the singing and that whole side of it. But I wish I could get someone to do the video side of it, because it's so finicky, and a lot of the time I have to, I will ask Nobble if I can use his footage, or I'll go in and you know, set my fraps up and record my own footage. It's really time consuming, so I just don't really enjoy the video side of it unless it's editing cutscenes, and then it's a completely different story. I love editing cutscenes to music. I love finding the peaks and troughs where they can coincide with the music, but the video side of it can usually take a few hours maybe, if my video software wants to play ball, because in the past I had this video software that used to crash all the time and it would corrupt the project. So I would get, like, say 2 minutes into the song, 2 minutes of editing the footage, and it would crash. I'd try and open the project and it would be like, no, we are corrupted. So then I'd have to start completely again. So that could take days if that was the case. But touch wood, my video software's been pretty good lately. Have you always been so good in organising things? You've got time for so much things during your day. Is it waking up early and working on all of that stuff whole day, or just good time management? And that's also from Sky. I love being organised, and honestly, if I didn't have this little baby, then I wouldn't know what I'm doing from day to day. And when I first started on Patreon, I remember that I didn't have a planner, I didn't know about lists, I didn't do anything like that, and I used to keep everything in my head, everything, from emails to Patreon messages. I just store it all in my head. And I remember one day just thinking, I have so much to remember that I'm stressing out, and my partner said to me, just write it all down, what are you doing, just write a list. And I don't think I'd ever written a list aside from a shopping list in my life. So I filled up like 3 A4 pages with stuff that I needed to get out of my head and onto paper, and it was really important stuff. Some of it was really important financial stuff that I was just keeping in my head for whatever reason. So then I delved into the world of planners, and ever since I've had a planner, and ever since I surround myself with notebooks, okay? Here is one of them. The list on this one is my best in slots for my monk, Miss Weaver. So that's one notepad that I have lying around that I just write in willy-nilly, and then I've got this notepad here, which has some boss tactics on it. This isn't great examples, but things like Patreon, vlog, throat and mouth care. I made a throat and mouth care list to take care of my voice with salt washes, neti pots and yogi throat coat tea and stuff like that. And so I surround myself with notepads, and I have a couple in the bedroom as well, because I feel like it's so important for me, if I remember something or think of something, I want to put it on paper. It's out of my head, I don't have to worry about remembering it, and it's there. And so when it comes to organising my weeks, I generally like take a glance at each notepad, and also I like to do each month in advance so that I know I've covered everything, like the patron request, the vocal noodle, the Q&A, and the live performance. So I like to have all of that scheduled as a week-to-week thing. There's 4 things there, there's 4 weeks in a month obviously, so I like to have those things pre-installed into my weeks. And then I have my weekly vlog on a Monday, my Friday surprise I record on a Tuesday, the Wednesday or the Thursday is what I use for my pre-installed things, so my live performance, my vocal noodle, and then my Friday I always keep free. That's the day that I release work to my patrons, and also I keep it free for any inspirational stuff, it's so important to save time to be creative on the spot. But because I've been doing that for 3.5 years, it's instilled in me, like every Monday. I know this isn't a Monday and I didn't do the weekly vlog this week, but I often find if I'm doing the monthly Q&A, I like to, sometimes if I haven't got a lot to talk about in my weekly vlog, I just think, well, I might as well just do the Q&A because it's going to be a long video and it's kind of like a vlog. But yeah, I mean, because I've been doing it for such a long time as well, it is instilled in me, and it is something that I'm into the rhythm of doing now. So it's not necessarily organisation, I guess it's just organisation from the start that's now like habitual for me. So, but I guess, yeah, I am pretty organised. And if you're not organised, try lists and planners. If you feel like you've got a lot going on in your head, just get a little notepad and start writing things down. And trust me, it will help you tenfold. In any game imaginable, what is the most abnormal name you've ever seen? Could be NPC, character, anyone, anything. Even if the name was for a chair or whatever, so long as it's an abnormal name. Okay, the first one that comes to mind is Melfwib Blumen something. I'm going to Google it. What's Melfwib? I've even spelled it wrong. Oh, here it is. Melfwib Blufusfin. Melfwib Blufusfin. If you don't know who that is, it's the pirate lady boss in Final Fantasy XIV. And her full name is Admiral Melfwib Blufusfin. So that's an abnormal name in my opinion. Most is the song you had the most difficulty singing. That's really hard because it kind of means me checking back through some songs, but I guess the one that was particularly hard was the All of Me WoW parody that I did with C. Michaels, because it was sung entirely in my head voice with little falsetto, so it was incredibly taxing on my voice. My voice was so tired by the end of it, and I think I did it in one sitting, which is probably, like, looking back now, that's probably not the best idea. But yeah, that was particularly hard, and I've mentioned it before. For me, like, singing in my head voice, which is a very clear sound, whereas my falsetto would be, and falsetto is a lot easier for me to sing, but it doesn't sound great if there's a lot of air a lot of the time, especially when you're trying to sing something a little bit operatic. So that was probably one of the hardest songs I've had to sing. Of all the video games you've played, which one had the best gameplay, most interesting? I'm going to stand by my Final Fantasy VIII, my beloved, because I played it, I guess it was one of the first ever video games that I played because I wanted to play it. It wasn't something that someone else was playing that I just like jumped on and watched. And it was just like, it just encompassed everything that I thought life was going to be like and that I wanted life to be like when I grew up. I mean, I must have been about 12 or 13 when I first ever played it, and oh god, it was so damn good. It was such a good game. I've probably played it close to like 10 times completely through and doing all the side stuff, and I just love that game so much. And like, thinking back now about the graphics, like, I was in love with Squall, and like, he barely had so pixelated, but that game was just so damn good. And I think they brought out a HD version on PC, which I started playing on stream, but I stopped playing it because I don't know, it's quite an intimate game for me, that, because like I said, it was like one of the first games that I ever really played. I remember my mum used to go to bed and she'd come in and say, okay, lights out, and I had this crap TV, like probably about that big, and it was like the back of it was about this big and I had some headphones, and I used to just, she'd go to bed and I'd put it on, put my headphones on and just play it until like 3 o'clock in the morning, which is probably why I'm such a night owl now, because it's like instilled in me to be up late. But I just love that game so much. It's my all-time favourite. So that's it for this month's Q&A. If you would like to get a question answered in a Q&A like this one, then head on over to ask.fm/Sharmalade and I will do my best to answer your question. Have a wonderful week and I will see you next Monday for the weekly vlog. Actually next Tuesday because it's my partner's birthday and he's off on the Monday, so I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye!